Die and be forgotten by a world that never loved you. A leaf on the breeze, a trampled seed. We all
Welcome to the Album Anniversary Podcast. Today's show is about This World Ain't Mine to Change by Fepeste. It was released October 24th, 2025. Yes, that's only a week ago. And today I'm joined by Fepeste himself. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here, Caleb.
Yeah, you've joined the podcast a handful of times. Three, I want to say? Three? Four?
Let's see. We talked about Bob Dylan, Jimmy Eat World, Starflyer. Yeah, 3 times, I think.
Three times. So this is time number 4, but this time it's all about your album. That's what we're going to talk about. So,
Oh, boy.
yeah, I am. I'm really excited. My goal is to have this out come about a week after the album was released, because it was released last week. And so, first off, congratulations to get out
Thank
an
you.
album. That's a big deal.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We'll get into how much work it is, because I've got questions about how much work this is a bit. But yeah, so I'm glad you could join. I'm glad we can dive into this. I'll be honest, I haven't not done this very much. So I'm kind of learning, like, this isn't like talking about an album that came out 40 years ago. I'm like, oh, there's a whole different set of things I got to think about. So thank you for humoring me a little and like letting me do this. But yeah, I say we dive in and let's talk about this album.
Cool.
Who knows what tomorrow brings? Only he can tell us what any of it means. Oh, come what may, I'll just be here in my lane, giving thanks and singing praise. This world ain't mine to change.
So usually on the show we go through facts, but we're gonna do it real quick, even though it's not like a historic album yet. We're gonna we're gonna do some facts for everybody. So this is the album is called This World Ain't Mine to Change, and again was released last week, October 24th, 2025. And this is technically your third album that you've released. The other two have just been 100% independent, right?
Yep. Totally self-released, the first 2. Yeah.
Okay. And then I was looking up the titles. Let's see here. All Glory was in 2022. And then What You Don't Know was in 2023.
Correct.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Did you start doing this like during COVID as like a thing, or is it something you had always been doing? Just the timing.
Yeah, the timing kind of was around COVID. I've been writing music for a long time and playing music for a while, but, became a dad and life got busy, other responsibilities. So I stopped writing music, playing music for a while, sold all my gear. And then it was around 2021. I had some friends who heard some music that I had written, and they encouraged me to continue it and finish it. It's a bunch of unreleased stuff. The album All Glory was actually written in 2014 and partially recorded but never finished when I abandoned that project. And then picked it back up in 2021, not really out of a COVID thing, but it was good timing because I had some other responsibilities kind of fall by the wayside at that point. So I had more time to devote to this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So third album, but this is, like we said, those two were independent. This one is on Velvet Blue. And how did you get connected with them and him? I mean, I think it's more of a one-person operation. But how did you get connected with Velvet Blue?
Yeah, so Velvet Blue it's a one-man operation. It's Jeff Cloud, the legendary Jeff Cloud. Oh man, I don't know if he remembers it this way. This is how I remember. I don't know if he's gonna like this story, but I basically, from what I remember, I originally bribed him with some whiskey. So I'm a whiskey distiller by trade. That's what I do for work. And I've been a big fan of Velvet Blue for many, many, many years. And I was working on my second album, and it was getting really close to finishing it and getting close to releasing it. And so I actually just wanted to take a chance and email Jeff out of the blue. I had never met him before, but I emailed him and I was like, hey, I don't know if you like whiskey, but I love what you do, and I'd love to send you some whiskey. Oh, by the way, I also write music, and if you want to hear that too. So something like that. And I think he
Yeah,
responded something along the lines of like, "Yeah, great, I'll take the whiskey, and I'll listen to music too, or something." The whiskey was the foot in the door.
sure.
Um, but I sent him that album, and he ended up not releasing that one, but he put one of those songs on one of his sampler
Hmm.
CDs that he'd put out his zine that he started, Small Sound Press, and we just kind of kept in touch over the years since then, since 2023. And as I was working on this album, I would send him demos from time to time, and we were talking about possibly releasing it, and then he'd come back and he said, I just don't know if I can fit this one into my schedule
Hmm.
for 2025. So I was actually about to pull the trigger. This was, man, I had this album done back around July, early-ish, early mid-July, and I
Okay.
was ready, like prepared to just self-release it again. And then he reached back out of the blue and was like, "Hey, wait, I've got an opening in October. I had another project that had to get pushed back a bit. Do you want to release it in October?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, I do." So it meant getting it out a little bit later than I wanted, but I mean, man, have a chance to release an album with Jeff on Velvet Blue Music it's a dream come true. So sorry, that's kind of a long
No,
story,
that's
but
great.
the TLDR is I mailed him some whiskey. I mean, I didn't mail him. That's illegal to mail alcohol to people. I didn't do that. I got it to him some other legal way.
Pony
And then we
Express.
just, yeah, Pony, exactly, Pony Express. Um, and then, yeah, it worked out. So,
So if you would have independently released this, would you have just it probably would have just been digital only? I mean, I'm assuming
no,
you wouldn't have been able to do
CDs.
other things. Okay, CDs.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't have done vinyl's expensive. I am so
Yeah,
grateful that Jeff released it on vinyl. It's the first time my music's been on vinyl, which is so cool. But I am mostly a CD collector. I do have vinyl, but I also don't have a great record player, and I'm so busy. I never find the time to like sit down and listen
sure.
to an album that way. So I'm always listening on the go while I'm doing other stuff. And so I have a much bigger CD collection, and those are a lot cheaper to produce. And so my first two albums I released on CD as well, and this
Okay,
one would have been on CD.
nice.
I feel weird about releasing something just digital. I like having physical copies of things, and to me, it's like, did I actually really do it if I can't hold my own album in my hands, kind of thing, in some way?
Yeah.
So,
I actually have a bigger CD collection than a vinyl collection, like by far. It's like three
mhm.
times the size, partially because I'm new to the vinyl thing. But like I'm with you. Like what I've discovered is I don't have a whole lot of regrets in life, but I got a couple of them. One is not going to the last 5 Iron show. There's Center Square for everybody who
I was
wanted.
I was
Make
there
sure.
in spirit for you.
Yeah, I see.
I think this comes up every time we
I
record
know, and
together.
I talk about it all the time. I say I don't have much regrets, and then I always bring that up. The other one is I did go through a phase, and part of it was financial, like just total transparency. Like I
Yeah.
just had no money for a long period of time, so I went digital because it was just a cheaper option, and I was just trying to save. At one point, I lived in a closet, and I had
Oh
no
man.
money. Like I mean, I had some bare years, and so like that was always like for me, it was like that. And so there are as I've been reorganizing my CD collection, there's a couple that I've realized I don't have, and I'm like, I just paid $25 for a CD because I was like, I can't believe I don't have this on CD because I bought it digitally, and
Yeah.
I was just like, ha, I gotta do it. And so like I'm not doing that for a lot of stuff, but there was one that I was, and then there was another CD that I was as I was reorganizing, I was like, this thing's pretty scratched up. I wonder if it plays, and sure enough, it's got a couple of skips. I was like, good. I found it for $4 on eBay, and I was like, okay, I can handle that. But like, oh yeah, I'm with you. Like having and holding it, like it's just a whole different ball game when it comes to
Yeah, I mean, we
physical
come
media.
from like a different age when you I remember when people started downloading music on the internet and stuff, but even then it's like, okay, you do it on LimeWire or whatever and you make a mix of
Right.
songs, but like I always bought the albums I liked.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what you had to do is own the album if you really wanted to listen to it. And now you got Spotify and Apple
Yeah.
Music and all that stuff. And it's just I still listen to a lot of music through those apps and stuff, but I
Yeah.
still like to own it, even
Yeah.
if, yeah.
Yeah, that's totally how I've become. And like, I've kind of turned into like, yeah, if I can get away for an hour on a random Sunday and go to the thrift store and look through CDs, I will. And because there's stuff that even that, like I never bought Nevermind on a physical
Oh,
copy. I bought it on iTunes. It was my first purchase on iTunes when I got an iTunes account. So I bought it, but I never owned a physical copy of it until more recently. So yeah, stuff like that. So
yeah.
anyway, well, there's a whole weird tangent. So back to this album.
We
So
got we got
this
to there's not that much to talk about. We got to pad the episode with this kind of stuff. It's cool. It's cool.
there's
We could just do
plenty to
this all the
talk
time and not
about.
even talk about my music is fine.
45 minutes later, where am I? What happened?
What are your best thrift store CD finds? We just compare notes on that. Yeah.
I have one. I have one.
I
So back to this being a lot of effort. This is written, recorded, and entirely self-produced. You did everything on this except for a couple things that I'll mention. But
yeah.
like you, I mean, this is all you. So every last thing you're hearing is just you pouring yourself into this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. With some caveats, which we'll probably get to. But yeah, yeah.
Yes. So let's get to the caveats because I know one of them has come up on the show before. I think it was included in the episode, but so Jason Martin mastered this. And
Yeah.
I know because I know you, I mean, this is like a dream come true, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Jason Martin is like he is my musical hero. Yes.
Yeah.
I've wanted to have Jason master an album for a long time. He actually used to have a website way back in the day and would offer mastering and mixing and other types of services. In fact, there's a band from Texas a little indie band that I loved from their first album. And I want to say there was their third album. And it was mostly like a dude, just like a dude kind of writing a lot of stuff like me. And they're called Merrill, Meyll. He actually paid to have Jason fly out to Texas, and they recorded his third album together, just like the two of them in the studio, and they recorded it all to tape, no digital or anything. And the only reason I know all this is because this was back when bands had websites with blogs on them and
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so he like blogged the whole experience, and I was like riveted by it. But it's a great album that Jason produced and recorded with this guy. He goes by Merrill, Meyll, and the album is called Rimsiet. It's his third album. Fantastic album. And where was I going? Oh, anyway, just yeah, I like wanted to work with Jason forever, at least have him master something
Yeah.
of mine. But back then I wasn't working on music. Like I'd kind of just abandoned writing music for that period in my life. And it came time to uh, get ready to release this album. I was talking with Jeff Cloud, and obviously Jeff has the in with Jason. So I was like, hey Jeff, can we get Jason to master this album, please? I don't even know if he still does this stuff for people, but I would love it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. So he just reached out and said, yeah, let's do it. And that's amazing. So,
Yeah.
so you had it kind of, you kind of had it ready or close to ready. And then it was like, well, hey, let's actually have him finish it. Or was it like,
Yeah.
hey, let's start all over?
I actually sent Jeff a finished, mixed, and mastered version of the album, and he had said, "Yeah, let's have Jason do that, master it. So just send me the mixes."
Okay.
So I don't know if that was like, "Yeah, your master sucks, and we'll have Jason do it," or not. But yeah, it was pretty much ready to go,
Okay.
other than the mastering.
But he kind of just started over and kind of took a fresh look at it and did put his touch on it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so let's get to some of the other ones then. So guest vocals, there's two of them. I'm gonna mess up the names. Thea
Taya.
Noel,
Taya.
Tia.
Taya.
Okay,
Taya.
Taya. Okay,
Yeah.
so sorry. Taya Noel is how you say the last name.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Bethany Jett, and I'm assuming there's some relation there.
Yeah. Bethany's my wife.
Okay, Bethany's my
Yeah.
sister. My sister's
Oh.
named Bethany, so that's fun. So guest vocals on the. Have they been on any other stuff? Does
Yeah,
your wife
yeah.
always on something
Nope.
always on your stuff?
No, so this was her stepping way outside of her comfort zone
Oh.
to sing on a few songs. And it was in part because Taya wasn't able to sing on the whole album. So
Oh.
Taya sang on the first two. She added, backing vocals and harmonies on my first two albums. And she's a missionary now in Moldova.
Oh.
And she rarely gets a chance to come back and visit. But when she does, I usually try to have something ready for her to sing on. And I was actually in the process, I was still writing this album. It wasn't even complete. And she was visiting, and I think we had like 2 really short afternoons. She was able to come by and just write some vocal parts and put them on the album really quick. But that means there was a few songs that I hadn't finished yet, and I was wanting some female vocals on. And so I was like, "Hey, honey, what do you think?" And she was game. It's not something like she's used to doing, but I think she did a fantastic job. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, so does she have a singing background at all, or is this
no,
like just sings for fun and was like, all right, well, let me give it a shot?
yeah, oh yeah, she'll sing around the house, sing at church, like sing in the car. She's got a great voice. I love it.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, yeah,
That's so cool to just be able to like step into it and just go with it because it sounds great. I mean, she
yeah,
she did a great job. So
I
that's
agree.
amazing. Holy cow. The last one that I want to mention is, well, for contributions is Nick Weber. He plays saxophone on a number of tracks. I said a couple, but it's more than a couple. It's like,
I think it's 3.
okay. So,
Yeah,
yeah. And then I'm
the 3
assuming,
best songs because they have his saxophone on them. So the best songs in the album.
good job, Nick.
I know they're your favorite, Caleb, because you're a ska fan. So
That's all Sky is just horns. Have you worked with Nick before? I'm assuming a friend
yeah,
and kind of just somebody who you've collaborated with before.
yeah. Nick, he's in a band, local band up in Denver called A
Okay.
Place for Owls. They're
Oh,
amazing. He's added stuff to. I think was it just the previous album? Yeah, I don't think he was on the first album. I think it was just on the previous album. He did some keys, mostly key parts and stuff on
okay,
that
cool.
album. He's a very talented multi-instrumentalist and a songwriter himself. Amazing. He has a solo project called Nick Weber that people need
Okay.
to go listen to that too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a big one. They're a big band. Been on tour with Switchfoot. Was it Switchfoot they were on tour with, or they played a couple
They
shows with?
they opened for Switchfoot
Yeah,
in Colorado and they did a short little tour with May, actually.
that's right. Okay.
Yeah, they're awesome. I just played a couple of shows recently, and they were my backing band
Yeah.
for both shows. They did me a huge solid favor and learned some of my songs so I could play a show where it's not just me alone. Because
Right.
if you've heard my music, it's not really written to just be performed alone.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna hit play on this thing over here. Just pay no attention to the computer behind me.
That's what I need to do. If I can't like get a backing band for a show, I just need to Milli Vanilli it and just press play and pretend I'm doing something.
Just up there miming the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Man, this guy sounds just like the studio. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then the last thing I wanted to call out is the artwork because it's a lovely little, I think, a painting. Is
Yeah.
what I want to say. And I'm gonna mess up this guy's last name. I'm so sorry, Adam. Anglin.
Anglin.
Anglin. Oh, so
Adam
close.
Anglin.
I think it's very lovely. It's a lovely piece of art. And then did he also do like is I'm assuming because the single for That's Okay is that like is just zoomed in on the top part of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Adam's an awesome painter. You should all check him out, Adam Anglin. He does these just like these landscapes with this modern shapes and bright colors. I don't know. I'm not like a
It's not
visual
your
artist.
medium.
I don't know how to describe it very well, but they're amazing. And so I've been a fan of his work since since he picked painting back up because he took a break from it for a while, if I remember right. And back in early 2024, he painted this one.
Hmm.
And I was in the process of working on the album. I had the title and everything by then. But I saw this painting and I knew immediately. I was like, that's the album cover. And
Hmm.
so reached out to him about it. It's a long story. I'll just ramble on and on if I keep going. But basically, I now have the physical painting hanging in my house and I love it. And yeah, the singles are like kind of cropped sections of that painting
Okay.
just because I needed different artwork. And then the little logo that's on the singles was made by this guy I met online. His name's Jaden Bricker. He's a cool illustrator. He also does music. So Jaden writes music as Motel 86. Everybody check that out. And
Okay.
then Adam Anglin is also a musician. He writes music under his name, Adam Anglin, and he's in a band called INNS, INNS. And one of his older projects is called Doves and Wolves. I'm throwing out a lot of recommendations, but everybody needs to go listen to all that stuff because it's amazing. So
People just keep on rewinding, or you know what? Just let this play and then start the podcast over.
I'm
It's
just
a
trying
real
to
help
talk.
for me too.
I'm just trying to talk about anything else but my music. Let's talk about everybody else's music. That's what I come on
Well,
your show for, to talk about other
yeah.
music.
This is a trap. I didn't know we were talking about this. I thought we were talking about Bob Dylan again. Well, now I'm gonna force you because we're gonna transition and we're gonna actually dive into
All right.
this record. That's enough of our facts. This will be more fun to talk about 30 years from now. We're like, you'll have to recall like, now who did that? So, but we'll save that for another time.
You know I really did think so, but never got good, never learned right, never not squandering all my time. Empty your ears, drowning in sound. You really don't need this from me right now. Just keep pouring out your grace on me.
You've been on the show before, and so you've already made reference to Jason Martin being a huge inspiration to you. You were on the show for Bob Dylan. I know you and I think you claimed Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys like back in 2023 or something. You're like,
so.
hey, if you ever get to Pet Sounds, I want it.
It was, yeah, I think it was when we first started talking about maybe doing the Bob Dylan episode. And I was like, by
Yes.
the way, if you ever do Pet Sounds, I called dibs on it. And that was years ago. Yeah.
Yes. So I know that those are like three of your biggest, and I'm assuming you have others, but like, how is it that those influences really kind of come through on this album for you?
Hmm. It's a good question. Sometimes it's difficult to understand how your own influences influence you, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, you brought up Jason Martin. How has he influenced this album? I don't know. If I had to guess, it might be my guitar playing a little bit. Jason is a fantastic guitar player, but he's not like this virtuoso who does these crazy solos all the time. He has these really tasteful lead riffs that are, just like these perfect melodies that accompany the music. And he's got this amazing tone.
Hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out the tone thing and all that, but I have these guitar riffs, licks, little things in there that maybe might be inspired by Jason. Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. Let's see. For this album, I intentionally wanted to go a little bit more Beach Boys direction than the previous album. So I wanted to do more harmonies, and I'm not good at harmonies. Like, it does not come naturally to me. I'm not used to singing harmonies. I always just sing unison if I'm singing along with something. And so like it kind of breaks my brain when I try to like write a harmony. And usually Taya on like previous albums, she would just kind of handle all the harmony responsibilities and stuff. And I didn't really have access to her skills this time. So I had to write a lot more harmonies and sing a lot more of them myself. And so a lot of that was inspired by, of course, my love for Beach Boys. And it was very stretching and difficult for me to do on this album.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot more key changes. I think I did one key change on the entire last album, maybe in a song. And this one, I do like 5 or 6. Like, I'd say like over half the songs have key changes. And that, again, that was me just wanting to stretch myself and do things that I'm not used to doing, I'm not comfortable with. And again, inspired very much by Brian Wilson's writing. I just find it fascinating. I mean, he has songs where they just constantly are changing key, like every few measures.
Yeah.
And so I just want to try that. And there's one song in particular that I just blatantly ripped off an idea I got from him. There's a song called Things Change. It's like right in the middle of the album.
Yeah.
And there's 2 key changes in that song. And it's in the key, it starts in the key of D, and then it goes to F sharp and then A. And those 3 notes, D, F sharp, and A, make up a D major chord. So it's the 1, then it changes to the 3 key, and then the 5 key, however you put that in musical terms. But I got this idea because I heard this video breaking down Surfer Moon by the Beach Boys, which is on their Surfer Girl album. I think it was Surfer Moon. I don't remember what key that song is in, but this guy was breaking down this song and how it changes keys multiple times, but it changes to the 3, like whatever the 3 note is, and that root chord changes to that, then it changes to the 5, and so he's changing keys within basically like this, like using the root chord as like the tonal center. Sorry, I'm getting nerdy. Anyway, but with that song, I think eventually Brian changes back to the original key if I'm remembering correctly. But I just love that idea of like, oh, you're going to change keys, but you're going to use the 3 notes that make up this major chord, and you're going to use those as your. And I just thought it was cool, and so I wanted to try that with the song, and
Yeah.
that's that song Things Change. So
Yeah. I noticed the key changes a lot. Like they stand out because I think less people are doing them now.
yeah.
Like it's a throwback thing, but like there's something magical about it. Like
Yeah.
it's fun. So I noticed them. And again, I'm a bit more the vibe guy. I'm not a musician, but I was like, oh, he's throwing in some, and Things Changes the one especially because I think I was into it and I was like, oh, that feels like a Beach Boys throwback or call out
Oh,
right
sweet.
there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
totally caught that one. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
glad you caught him. And I will also it's been a while since I've thought about this stuff. I think all the key changes I do, each song the ones that have them is a different type of key change.
hmm,
So yeah, I don't know. With this album, I was really just trying to try different things and stretch myself in ways that I
yeah,
don't normally write. And it was fun. Oh, and then Bob Dylan. You asked about Bob Dylan.
yeah,
Nothing about Bob Dylan has inspired. Like Bob Dylan's amazing, but I'm not a lyricist. Like I don't write lyrics anything like he does. The
sure,
music doesn't sound anything like Bob Dylan. If I had to say one way he inspired me, it's just the singing,
hmm,
the off the wall, not like I have an acquired voice, I think.
hmm.
Just like he has an acquired voice. So maybe that. Just
Yeah.
just a guy with an unconventional voice, having the courage to sing in a
And
weird
do key
way.
changes
Oh, that too,
in
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Bob
amazing.
never does key changes though.
No, it's just
I don't know if
play for
I'd have to
10
think
minutes, be
about
done.
that. I don't know if he's ever done a song with a key change, and not like the 300 or 400 songs he's written. I'm
Yeah.
sure he has, but I have to think about that.
Maybe in the newer stuff, right? Like,
I don't
well,
think
I don't
so.
know.
No, he leans heavy and does like blues influences on
Yeah,
the new
yeah, he
stuff, but
does.
yeah.
So the Jesus Freak Hideout, they gave a wonderful review of it. If you have not read
Yes, they
that, I
did.
think everybody should go read that. It was a great review. I think John was the guy who did it.
John Underdown,
Yeah,
super nice
fantastic.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So he called out like the surfer nature of some of this. So like that was another thing. And I wrote this question before that review came out, but I was like, when he said it, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Somebody else who kind of caught some of that stuff coming through. So is that, I mean, the surfer rock, is that kind of also like intentional, or is that just more me and John kind of picking up on stuff?
No, it's very intentional. It's so funny. People think of the Beach Boys as like surf rock. And I don't think, when I think of surf rock, I'm thinking like the traditional early 60s instrumental, like the
Yeah.
Ventures type of surf rock, right?
Yeah.
And I love instrumental surf music as well as the Beach Boys.
Hmm.
And I love those guitar tones, the drippy, super wet reverb, the clean, type of guitar. On my last album, I had a lot more fuzz guitar parts and
Hmm.
riffs on there. And I did have a few of those like really drippy little palm muted surfer parts on the last album, but I wanted to embrace it a little bit more on this album. And I think at
Yeah.
the time, like when I first started writing this, I was just listening to a lot of instrumental surf music. I go through phases where when I do listen to music, I almost just don't want anything with lyrics.
Hmm.
And I mean, I think there was one year, I think it was like 2018 or 2019. I didn't listen, like every album I listened to for an entire year was instrumental. Like,
Oh,
I don't know. I just was not in the mood for words or something. And so
yeah.
I go through these phases and I think I was just listening to a lot of it at that time. And I, I
Yeah.
play a Fender Jaguar because I love surf music and I love, that the plucky punchiness, twanginess of a Jaguar. And so,
Yeah.
yep, no, that was all intentional. Yeah.
Nice. Have you ever heard Tommy Guerrero?
The name is familiar, but I don't know if I have.
He's a former pro skateboarder turned instrumental musician, and
Okay.
he's great. I think he's a really good instrumental artist. And then have you ever heard of or I'm sure you've heard of him, but have you listened to Ethan Luck's instrumental album, like
Yeah.
is it East
Oh
to
yeah.
West or Gates of the
Yeah.
West?
Yes, I have. I love Ethan Luck.
Okay.
And I have listened to that album. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I really like that one. That was another one, again, being late to vinyl. I was like, can I get any of Ethan's stuff on vinyl? And that was one that was still available. And I was like, oh, sweet. So I have that one. I do have that one. So, but yeah, but Tommy Guerrero is another one that if you're ever looking for more instrumental stuff, he's
I'll check him out for sure.
really, really good. in my opinion.
When you know it, but don't feel it, gotta sing it. You gotta laugh or you'll cry. All these songs I write are looking to a future time when all this dissonance finally finds its rhyme.
So we talk about you wrote all this, you did this all. So what is your writing process like? Is there kind of a formula you go to, or is every song kind of come from a different place?
It's all a little bit of both. I don't know how to answer that. I don't ever think about this that much. It's pretty different from song to song. There are some similarities where I try to have at least a majority of the lyrics written
Okay.
before I start writing music. Now, the lyrics will definitely get tweaked or added or changed as the song's getting further along. But usually I have like notes. These days, it used to be like, notebooks, but now it's like we have smartphones and I've got a little note folder in my phone of just like little lines or things I'm thinking about. And a lot of it's kind of like stream of consciousness here and there. I'll just put something in there. And then it's a little bit like assembling puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
And then from there, oftentimes it'll be trying to work out a chord progression and a melody just for like a verse or a chorus. I just need like a jumping off point. But then from there, who knows where it goes? Like I'll either add drums or something in the background, or I'll have a riff already written that may or may not turn into the melody line, or I don't know. Each song is a little different, but it is something where, to me, the writing process is very heavily like it's mixed up with the recording process as well. Like they're not really two distinct things for me. I don't have like these finished songs that I'm like, okay, now I want to record this song that I have written. I use Logic to record stuff, and so I'll just go in there and I have all these different iterations or files that like, oh, here's a verse of this, and it's I don't know, it's a lot of moving stuff around, and
Yeah.
oh, this might work. But I'll have songs that are really fleshed out instrumentally that I don't even know exactly how they fit together. Other times it's like it'll be done within like a couple days, and I'll have like almost it's very much while I'm writing, I'm also kind of recording the ideas. So demoing to me, okay, so like this, some of the demos for this album, some of the parts that I wrote for the demos ended up being the parts that ended up being on the album. I didn't know if that was going to be the case, but I'm like, why bother recording this? Or re-recording, I mean, because this is the part. Other times I'll like work on a demo. I'm like, this song really needs to be in a different key. And then I need to go back through and re-record everything, or I need to change the tempo, or I need to whatever. But there are a lot of times that as I'm demoing a song, the demo is almost basically the song when it's finished. And so that really, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If I may make it any sense.
I mean, I think it's really unique to start with kind of the lyrics. I would guess, especially just because the bands I'm closest to, like I think about like Me Without You, or Five Iron, or some of these other bands where like it feels like the songs are very much done, and then it's like, here you go, here's a placeholder for where lyrics could go. You go figure out. So the idea that you're starting with lyrics as kind of like a thing, like when you're there, like you're through three, you said a fragment of stuff. Do you have like a thought like, oh, a little drum part here would after this work, or this would be a good melody to go with this? So there's like little pieces that are attached, and then it's like, all right, well, let's take that next step and flesh this out a little as we build around it. Is that kind of how it works a lot of times?
Yeah, it absolutely can. It's like working on a puzzle, and you're kind of putting things together, and eventually it's all done. And it's not like you go through and you're going left to right, top to bottom, and you're completing the puzzle that way. There's not always a lot of rhyme or reason, and each song is different. But for me, I think why I need to have lyrics is I've tried writing like melodies, like just a melody line with no words to it, and it works for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I kind of just like I need to know what I'm singing, because for me the songs, in many ways are like they're prayers. They're me processing through things. Like I know I said that like I'm just kind of taking these lines down and notes on my phone and then putting them
Mm,
together. But the reason like these thoughts are coming to me and I'm writing these lines down is because it's something like I'm processing through,
hmm.
whether I'm at work or doing things like around the house, or it's just my mind's processing stuff,
Yeah.
and I need an outlet for it. And so I'll put these lines down. I'll kind of create songs out of almost like little prayers. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess I gotta have that
Yeah.
before and it's honestly, it's one of my least favorite things to do with music is writing lyrics because, uh, I like Bob Dylan. So
Yeah.
there's so many stories where he'll just sit down, he'll hammer out like pages and pages and pages of lyrics, and a lot of them don't get used, but he will just like write a ton. And
Yeah.
these amazing songs will come out of that. I I don't know how to just sit down and crank a song out from start to finish. Like I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a song and I'm going to find a word that rhymes with this and I'm going to do that and just make it work that way. It's most of the lyrics that I write, they're always also like the songs are very like in some stage different. They're in different stages along the
Mm.
way.
So it's very much like I mean, it sounds like it's just very much a building process. Like it is
Yeah,
like it starts this little thing and then adds a little more, and kind of one idea leads to the next idea, and all of a sudden it's like, well, now I got 2.5 minutes. Now I really need an intro. So start. Is it like then like jump over here and kind of build up till you can kind of connect it all together? Like, does that
kind
happen
of.
sometimes too?
Yeah, kind of. The other thing about it is like it's also not this linear process
Yeah.
because I'm writing in the evenings, like when the kids are in bed, or on the weekends, or there's a lot of starting and stopping to it.
Hmm.
Like I'm not just like renting studio time and going and spending like a month in the studio where like that's all I'm thinking about and I'm working on a song from start to finish
Right.
before moving on to the next one. It very much is like, all right, I'm really tired after this long day, but I'm really either I don't really feel like being creative, so the wife and I are going to watch a movie or something,
Right.
or I'm feeling the spark for whatever reason. I'm like, no, I'm feeling this itch, and so I gotta open up the computer and start all that stuff, and then it's well, what song do I want to work on? Which one am I far? Which one maybe? What idea came to me about this
Yeah.
song while I was driving home from work or whatever it is, right? So I have so many songs in different stages of the process because the way that I'm writing and recording is like this whole starting, stopping.
Hmm.
I get a few hours to work on it here, a few hours there, and it's just very inconsistent. So um, it it works for me. It like works really well for my life right now with where I'm at with three kids, and
Yeah.
it's nice, but it is also a frustrating, confusing thing, and I'm finding it very difficult to describe. This is why we should talk about other people's music because you'd think that I was an authority on my own music, but as we're going, I feel less and less of an authority on my own music.
No,
Uh,
this is like this is really interesting to break down this, like to kind of deconstruct this process, because I had no idea, that it's like for me it's I wouldn't be able to do this, right? Like part
okay,
of the reason I like doing podcasts is like it
yeah,
is kind of linear. I record, and then I literally go through the thing and just cut up, like
yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
I
so
would struggle with this.
here's like an example of a part I really like on the album that was a really happy accident, and it was not planned. I didn't write it this way, but
Hmm.
it was a product of how I was writing the music and working on the music and recording and all that. Um, on Never Got Good, there's after the bridge, there's like a final chorus, but it's mostly a cappella. There's
Hmm.
not a lot of instruments and stuff happening there. And so that was not written to be like a mostly a cappella part. But what happened is I was like I decided I wanted another chorus in there or something like that. Gosh, again, this was so long ago. I'm trying to remember because it's like a year ago. I think I finished that song, maybe longer. But how I got that part is I was like cutting and I was like trying to move some of the audio files over to make room for something else that I wanted to like record in there. But I thought I grabbed everything, but I guess I didn't grab the vocals or something like that. So I moved all the music over and then I went to go like back the song up and record that something in there. But I pressed play and there was a bunch of vocals there. But I thought I had
Right.
moved out of the way, but I didn't. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool with that part being a cappella. Like I didn't plan on that. Um, but I like, and then so I embraced it and I kind of wrote it to be more that way. But it was like a
Yeah.
happy accident. There's a lot of parts on the album that are that way, that are like these, either, late at night and I'm bleary eyed, should be going to bed, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm feeling inspired, but I'm making mistakes, and those mistakes just turn into like little happy accidents that I actually had not planned to be written that way. So
Yeah. That's
yeah.
amazing. So you're doing this then, like, it's all at home. It's all kind of in your studio. Like you said, you're not renting out a studio time. Like, there's a lot of stuff on here. Like, I'm hearing like some organ parts, and there's piano and bells and bongos. Like, I'm assuming you don't have like a third story, a third floor that's just dedicated to this.
No.
How is this all happening in your little home studio?
Yeah, so modern technology is both a curse and a blessing upon
Yeah.
mankind. So along with all the curses of modern technology, you get wonderful things like MIDI
Hmm.
and all these plugins and things you can do. All the guitars, the bass, a lot of the percussion is all, that's all real. That's all
Sure.
recorded with microphones and stuff. But things like drums, I'm not a drummer.
Hmm.
And actually, I hate admitting this, like the fact that I don't, I don't like saying this publicly. I'm really self-conscious about it. I don't know why. The drums are not real drums. So
Hmm.
like, I can't play drums to save my life. At 13, I chose guitar over drums. And you're talking about no regrets in life. That was one of those like, I wish I could have learned drums.
Yeah.
And I just never did. Anyway, so those are MIDI drums. Those are like programmed, and
Hmm.
I try to make them sound somewhat realistic because of the genre of music that I write. And I don't know why I'm so self-conscious about it, because you have a lot of electronic music, and that's all virtual drums and MIDI
Yeah.
drums and stuff like that. It's drum machines, and um, but it fits with the genre. And for this one, because it's just really difficult, I don't have the tools and stuff to record
Yeah.
full drums. I just luckily I have the technology where I can mess around and write the drum parts and do that stuff. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of the same with like keys. I keep kicking myself because like we talked about Nick Weber earlier. He is a phenomenal key player, and he's all he plays saxophone, he plays guitar, he sings amazing. He's just amazing. But I always feel really bad about asking people to help me with things. Like
Hmm.
I'm not good at asking for help. And I should have just sent him off the songs. I'm like, dude, hey, can you add some sweet key parts to it, like he did on a couple of songs on the last album? But instead, I'm like, no, I'll do it myself, because again, that's how I write. Like I'm just
Sure.
like, oh, I think I need an organ right here. Instead of being like, hey, can you add organ to this? I'm like, I'm up. It's 12:30 at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm just going to add an organ part right here, right?
Right.
So no, I don't have like a real organ, but it is, I've got a virtual organ on my computer essentially. Um, but the thing with that is like I don't play keys. Like I'm not a real key player. Like I know my way around a keyboard. I know what all the keys are.
Right.
But if it's like a part that involves two hands playing at the same time, I actually have to record those as two separate parts. Like I have to do them separately. It's like
Wow.
I'm not good enough to play keys. Like I don't practice. I don't. Um, so it's me fumbling around with things and then using um, quote unquote fake instruments on a lot of
Okay.
it to
Well, I will say it.
Oops.
I'm asking because the guitar sound, or the drum part sounds like, I was like, does he have a drum set in his house that he's
I
like
wish.
like I think that'd be a real pain, like to try and record live drums in a house. Like,
Oh yeah,
that'd
especially
be
like the only time I
horrifying.
have to record is like at 11 o'clock at night or so.
Yeah.
Kids are in bed and I'm just banging on the drums, keeping everybody up. Yeah. No, no, like I love drums. Like they're such a cool instrument, and uh I think about drum parts,
Hmm.
but I don't know how to play them.
Hmm.
So no, they're written with intention. Hopefully they come across well, and hopefully they sound all right. But um, yeah, handful of the instruments are fake, and a handful are real.
Yeah. I think it sounds great. I mean, it's a great
Thank you.
sounding album. Like, I wouldn't have, again, I'm sure super musical people are probably like, yeah, I can tell that. But like, I totally can't. Like, even when the organ comes in on one of the songs, and I'm a big fan of, one of my big heroes is Elvis Costello, and like
Mhm.
that organ that he adds to so much of his music, and like the organ comes in on it, and I'm just like, oh, it's speaking my love language. Like, it's just
Dude,
like, I love it. And it
Yeah.
sounds so good. And I was like, I'm I feel very confident that he's doing this at home and he probably didn't have an organ, but this sounds perfect for this. And it's like,
Thank you.
yeah. So
I think we've
go ahead.
talked about our love for organ before.
Yeah.
I think it was on our Bob Dylan episode, the very first one we did. Um, we were talking about how, for me, Like a Rolling Stone was the song that made me fall in love with organ.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I just heard that song a long time ago, and I was like, oh man, Al Cooper's part was amazing on that. So I've always loved organ, and I think of it as like the original synthesizer.
Hmm.
So I like synthesizers. Synthesizers are cool. You can do so much cool sounds and textures with them. But like to me, the organ is like the original analog synthesizer, and I love how it just fills
Yeah.
out the sound. And yeah, I try to throw it on as many things as possible.
Yeah. It just does. It gives, I think that organ sound gives it just a richness that
Yeah.
is, it's so cool to hear it come through. So, yeah. So then you talked about like lyrically, like you kind of start with these little things and like, I think there's a good variety on this album. Like Doom Surfing is an example of like, just, it's, it kind of comes out of nowhere because it feels very modern where a lot of the other parts feel a little more old in spirit. Like they just are, they have a, I don't want to say hymn quality, but they kind of have some of that like throwbackness to them. And so like, just looking at lyrics in general, like, were there themes that you were kind of trying to pull from to kind of pull this all together? Or is it just, it all starts as from these little thoughts or prayers that then it's kind of
Mm.
like, which one does these fit well together?
So that's a great question. There's always some sort of loose theme with every album that I write.
Sure.
I feel like there has to be. It helps me process and write songs, and like it helps me feel like, oh, these songs all belong together on an
Mm,
album. Um, and so yeah, my previous two albums they had their own themes, and this one, let's see, like one of the earliest songs that was written for the album was "That's Okay," which is where
mm,
the album title comes from. There's that line in the chorus, "This world ain't mine to change, and that's okay." And a lot of the song has to do with accepting like your place in life, but in like a
mm,
joyful way, and relinquishing this idea that we have complete control. I think that's a hard
mm.
thing for us to come to terms with is like we want to be in control and we hate it when we don't have control of the things, especially the whole world. Like,
Yeah.
it's that whole the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. Like if we all had an opportunity at the One Ring, like would we throw it into Mount Doom? Probably not. Like we
Mm,
would we would want to keep it for ourselves and we'd justify it. And there's so many things that I want to change and yet I can't. And
mm.
that's a good thing because I would be a horrible God.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
um so there's a lot of that theme threaded through the songs of this album. You brought up Doom Surfing. And yeah, that song, I think because it deals with like scrolling through social
Yeah.
media, feels very modern. But, for me, it's a real struggle. Like
Mm,
I will doom scroll
yeah.
constantly, and it deeply affects me in a very negative way sometimes. And I think, why am I doing this? Sometimes it's just for that dopamine hit. Sometimes I just want a funny cat video or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, Other times it's like I'm just looking at how stupid this world is, and I'm like, everybody else is so stupid. And um, there is a level of like self-idolatry where like I'm
Mm,
scratching this itch of like, oh, how smart am I? Look at how stupid this whole world is as I'm doom scrolling and seeing all like the horrible stuff on social media.
yeah.
Uh, and yet while I'm doing that, like how it's destroying my soul as I'm thinking I'm like somehow better
Mm,
than, I don't know, other people out there or something. So it even with that song, there is this theme woven through of like I do this because I somehow want to know what's going on. There's a lot of excuses for doom scrolling. Like, I just want to stay informed. I want to know
Yeah.
the news. As if like humans were meant to know, like we were meant to live in this 24-hour news cycle, knowing like the latest thing that happened on the other side of the world or this other thing. Like, it is very important to know these things. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just like, it deeply affects us. At least notice it does with me. And
Yeah.
I really need to stop. I really need to get it under control. And Doom Surfing was a song I wrote, questioning my own motives about why am I so glued to this thing, hoping that it would help me get a grip on it. And so far, I'm still struggling with the doom scrolling. Um, so yeah, even that song, but it even the opening song and closing songs deal with this theme of there's this Zinzendorf quote. He was a missionary back in the 1600s, I think, and he said, "Preach the gospel, die, and be forgotten."
Hmm.
Basically mean like, your life isn't significant. It's significant insofar as like you're spreading the kingdom of God, you're doing the work for God, and um, I resonate with that because I recognize on my better days that I'm just one of 8 billion people. Like, who am I?
Hmm.
Kind of thing. Why do I have this outsized belief that I'm somebody that can make massive change in the world that really only happens to a very small number of us? And so it's a comforting thing to know that, to accept that when we die, once it gets past, our children, our grandchildren, or whatever, like we're going to largely be forgotten.
Yeah.
There's not going to be, our great 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 grandchildren will likely not know who we are really,
Hmm.
and we're going to be forgotten to the sands of time, and that's a difficult thing for us. So the other song on the other end of the album is "Be Remembered,"
Hmm.
and it's this comforting fact that though I am one of 8 billion people currently living on the planet, and though I feel at times insignificant, and sometimes that's a good thing because I need to be humbled, at other times I need to be reminded that, um, we're told in scripture that God will remember the righteous forever, that we
Hmm.
will spend eternity with God in heaven. Sorry, I don't mean to get preachy here. I'm just trying to explain the lyrics, but it's a comforting thing, and it's part of this, open-handed letting go of this desire to feel like we have to change the world. I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
we can. I'm not saying we should go song by song like we've done on other albums with your on this podcast, but we could go through and I could kind of point out where in each of these songs this thread as I was writing them of letting go of control and taking comfort in that God is in control and that at the end of all things, I'll be remembered and it's all going to be okay. It's,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
No, I love that because like for me now, like I've been listening to it a lot, like kind of getting ready for this, and like I got my record a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I got it early because he does a good job of sending those pre-orders
yeah, he
out. But
does.
like, you
Cloud's the
know,
best.
I'm excited to go back and like I have no problem. I know some people don't want songs explained. I'm totally okay with having a song be explained. I'm also totally okay as a listener just saying, well, that's great. That's what you intended it to be, but this is how it's touching me and this is where I'm going. But I'm really
Hmm.
excited to kind of now do another listen where it's kind of like with that theme in mind and see kind of those moments come out. So like when did you have a moment where like you've got all these little scraps of paper. I'm thinking about the movie 8 Mile where he's got like scraps of paper, but like you've got all these like thoughts. They're down. You're kind of going through them. And did it like hit you all of a sudden? Where it's like, oh yeah, this is it. Like I can see this in my just in my entries. In my entries, I'm this theme is coming back over and over again. And was there kind of like an aha moment, or was it just like, oh, 3 songs are done? This is where I'm going, and I'm just gonna keep on pulling on that thread.
It happens pretty early.
Hmm.
So, you know, again, keeping these lyrical notes in my phone and stuff, I start recognizing pretty early on where my brain is going or what I'm
Hmm.
wrestling with or what theme, is in my soul at that time.
Yeah.
And it's not a recognition that happens later, like a bunch of songs in. It happens really early, and it actually
Hmm.
helps me work on the album. It helps give me a drive and a direction and a focus,
Nice.
to understand how to assemble lyrics that I've already been thinking about, and also how
Yeah.
to know like what to continue writing about it or thinking about. And um, like I said, That's Okay was an earlier song written on the album. It wasn't the first though. So
Hmm.
it was one of the first ones where I did understand like what I think the theme was going to be.
Hmm.
But then Vengeance might, no, either Things Change or Vengeance are actually old. They're both older, but I'm not sure which one was first now. Um, but I had those songs and they never felt like they had a place on
Hmm.
another album. And yet, both of them this time around, those were times where I felt like, oh yeah, those fit here, at least for me mentally. Like,
Hmm.
um, maybe you don't think they fit on the album or whatever, but for me, the theme is there, and
Yeah.
they finally found a home.
Yeah. Nice. This album, I will say, is like it has a worship feel. I use the word worshipy in my little script slash outline, but like it doesn't feel like you're intending this for any sort of corporate worship. Instead, it's like this almost meditation that's coming through. Am I reading that right, or is there an intention of like, oh yeah, I'd love to find a way to make these somehow corporatized?
Uh, I think you're reading it right. Yeah.
Okay.
I have zero desire to write corporate worship music. Corporate worship music, for one, has become its own genre.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
it, and it's not a genre that I'm particularly fond of
Hmm.
personally. I don't have I don't I'm not I'm just saying I don't it's not something I listen to a
You want
lot
to
of.
sing at church, but
Yeah,
but
yeah, oh
it's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
for sure. But I don't have a desire to write music that is sung at church on a Sunday.
yeah.
Which is interesting because on my last album I actually covered a hymn. I reinterpreted a hymn. But the lyrics, like I said before, they kind of started these as these little prayers.
Yeah.
And so maybe when you're describing it as worshipy, it's because it kind of is.
Yeah.
When I'm writing these things, my faith is very much a part and kind of the main thing that I tend to write about
Hmm.
be because they start as prayers and because a lot of that is me seeking to make less of myself and more of God.
Hmm.
I think by nature, yeah, you could call these songs worship songs. I don't intend to write them so that others can sing along and feel and believe the exact same thing. Like they're not for that purpose. But if someone else connects with it and
Yeah.
understands what I'm talking about, then great. But it very much just is written from my perspective, things I'm wrestling with. And what I'm wrestling with constantly in life is worshiping God because I so often want to worship myself or worship other things. I make so much of other things in this life that don't need to be
Hmm.
made much of.
Yeah. No, it comes through. I mean, when you said that, like they're little prayers almost, like it comes through and it feels like a throwback to kind of when you're right, when worship music wasn't just a genre of like an industry. Like it feels like it's at home in more of kind of an old like yeah, just a different time frame of Christian music in a lot of ways. So I really was like I wasn't expecting it when I got it. Like I had not listened to the singles. If I'm gonna get something, I'm generally not a single. Like I try and avoid somebody said that on the show, and I was like, that's what I'm doing going forward. If I know it's something I'm gonna take the whole album in, I'm gonna try and avoid the singles. And so when I got it, I was like, oh, this is a lot more like faith based or like about your spirituality that I was expecting. And so yeah, it was kind of this like fun surprise to kind of dive
Hmm.
into it. So
And it's depending on how you want to look at it, it's perhaps to a fault, at least from a marketing perspective. Uh, but like you talked about Bob Dylan. I love Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan, obviously, he's known for his lyric writing. I could
yeah.
never be Bob Dylan. I'm not trying to be Bob Dylan. And I've had conversations with other friends who are other way better lyricists than I could ever hope to be.
Hmm.
And they will intentionally write songs, but they'll obfuscate is not the right word. They'll write these songs with really intelligent lyrics that don't they're unassuming
Hmm.
um, because they want to write music that doesn't immediately turn someone off when they hear something that sounds super Christian. Not that like it's trying to be um, dishonest or anything, but write music, I guess lyrics in a smart, creative way that communicates a universal truth that everyone can like upon first listen like resonate with.
Hmm.
Like they can understand like for example, the song Vengeance is about a desire for justice. We all have a desire for justice.
Yeah.
But the way that I've written that song is not one that many people right away might resonate with,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's just that I guess it's not about being honest. I do this because it's cathartic for me. I have
Yeah.
this compulsion to write music, and these lyrics are honest and they sound like me.
Hmm.
And that's like I don't know how to like dress them up in an artistic way that other people that maybe a larger majority of people could resonate with and enjoy. Um, because I don't know. I don't I don't know
But
how to do that.
that's not your
And
goal,
I
right?
don't want
Yeah.
no, it's not my goal. It's just
Yeah.
I just write what feels honest and truthful to me. And when I started this project, like when I released this album, I didn't, or when I was writing this, I didn't know it'd be released on Velvet Blue. And I didn't, when I started writing music for All Glory, like the purpose behind that album, and when I started writing in 2014, like my wife and I went through something very tragic.
Hmm.
And we had a huge shift in our faith and in our understanding of scripture, and coincided with this big tragedy in our lives. And um, it was I wrote that album for me, which is why I
Hmm.
was like very okay shelving it, because like I wrote the album and I didn't put it out there
Yeah.
because I had kind of I guess gotten what I needed out of it.
Hmm.
And that's always been like I never intended a lot of people to listen to my music. It'd be nice. It'd be super cool if like other people gel with it and they understand it like that. That'd be so cool. Um, but I'm about to turn 40 here in a few months, and like I'm not I don't know. I don't
But
write
that's why
from the
it can be
perspective of
powerful.
yeah.
Like, because like you're not trying to go out there and like I feel a little soulless at times when I'm like, listen to my podcast, listen to like I do. Like there's something about like what I like about doing it is this part of it. Like
Mm.
this like I've gotten to know a lot of people. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Like I've gotten to know people online that now I'm connecting with and talking about it. And like that's the fun of this. Like and I actually kind of like the editing because there's something, I don't know, creative and fun about it. But like that's the point of it. And I think that's what makes it powerful. Like, yeah, you can tell. I think you can tell when an artist is not genuine and they're doing it because they want to sell a product. And like obviously, yes, you want this to like I want people to listen to this. I want people to go listen to this and check it out and connect with it. But like the power of it is that yeah, I'm doing this because I feel like I need to. That compulsion or like that like this is something that I want to get off my chest. And I think that's what
Mhm.
allows people to connect with it, which is the point of art and music, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So I'll go through. I'm just going to tell you a couple of my favorite songs, and then I'm going to give you a chance to kind of, if you have a favorite. I'm sure you don't, because they're all your babies. How do you pick your favorite kid? I can't imagine.
Honestly, I'm sick of them all right now. They're all grounded. They're all grounded. I don't want to hear this album ever again. I had to write and record and mix this album. Like I'm the only one who heard this album pretty much for two, other than my wife and kids who heard mixes of it. They're probably sick of it too. But like, no, yeah, these are my kids, but they're all grounded. Like I don't have favorites anymore. I'm ready to like move on to the next album because like I don't, you know.
It's probably the delay probably added to it, but I mean
Uh,
that's
I'm
exciting.
just kidding. I'm very proud of these kids. I'm very proud of this. I think it's a really awesome album. I really do. I tried some new things on it. I swung for the fences in areas I was not comfortable doing, and I think I pulled it off pretty okay. Um, anyway, sorry. Go on. You
Yeah.
were gonna say something.
No, I'm gonna say I do love That's Okay. I think is great. It was a great first single. Never Got Good is also good, but like I'll say my two favorite songs. It's funny that you mentioned Vengeance. Vengeance is one of my absolute favorites, and then My Only Comfort is my favorite song on this album. And
Because you like ska and there's a lot of saxophone on it, right?
I suppose I don't know. There's something about I think your vocal performance on it is really really good. It is.
Oh, thanks.
Is it that I'm trying to remember. It's the one that's a little more upbeat, I
Yeah,
think.
it's the second to last song.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
Only
yeah.
Comfort. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think it's the upbeat nature of it that like, but I think the vocal performance on it is just it's really great, and like there's something about it. It's I think it's a good follow up to Vengeance, and it's a real nice lead in to Be Remembered. And I love a good ending to an album, and I think those three songs really close this album out really well. I think
Oh,
strong
thank you.
side B is very strong,
Really?
and yeah, I love it.
Thank
I
you.
yeah, the final three are just really work for me, and my only comfort is kind of that highlight, and it strings those together really well. So
Wow, thank
it's
you.
yeah, it's an album that I think ends really strong and makes it really easy. I love it. I love an album that you get done and it makes it really easy to jump right back into it and Be Remembered back into Be Forgotten works really well too. So yeah,
Good.
you've done a good job constructing this thing to have a lot of replayability, I think.
Thank
So
you. Well, I mean, well, first of all, I love hearing that you think side B is pretty strong because this is a weird contradiction, but I'm most self-conscious about side B.
hmm,
Um, to me, side B is simultaneously the weakest side of the album, while also being the ones that I have the like that I'm most affectionate about
hmm,
in a way. Like I feel most emotionally strong about a lot of those songs, and I
interesting.
want people to like them, but I also like I don't feel I feel less comfortable which most people would think, oh, that's why they're on side B is because
Sure.
you want them towards the end of the album. But the other thing, the reason I like that you like the last three in order, is because the sequencing is not an accident. Like there actually
Hmm,
is intentionality behind the ordering of the songs on the album. Those songs do come one right after the other for a thematic lyrical reason.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't have had it any other way. Um, so it's yeah, really cool to hear that you like those songs
Yeah.
because I like them, but I'm also like really self-conscious and I kind of don't like them at the same time, if
Oh,
that
I
makes
think they're
sense.
great. I think
Okay.
it's yeah, they're really good. Like I think That's Okay is a really good first single.
Yeah.
I think you made the right choice for that first single, but like, so I think strong the side A has those strengths because you've got I think the other Never Got Good is also another one, but like I think you've got those strengths there. Like cuz those are the two singles, right?
Yeah.
That's Okay and Never Got Good. So like
Yeah.
they're strong, they're on side A, but then like yeah, you hit that spot and like it's about halfway through Vengeance where I'm like the album really I don't know there's a flourish there at the end that you really nailed, and I know that feels awkward for you to probably hear, but you
It
really
does.
nailed
Thank you.
the flourish at the end, and you did it. I want a song to I want an album to close strong. I want it to be a full complete set, and it really is. I think it's My Only Comfort really is like the song that like I can feel myself kind of connecting with it the way
Okay.
when you're kind of throwing out that idea of like these are just my prayers, like that's one that I really can feel it, and it really does like inch into my heart, and so yeah, it's
Oh, that's
you've
awesome.
done
Thank
well,
you.
so
I appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not really only my prayer. That song, there are times when I just lift lyrics and lines from other things. And that song is one of those instances where it is based on the Heidelberg Catechism or
Okay.
the also the Hercules Collins Orthodox Catechism. It's the first question, which starts, "What is my only comfort in life and death?"
Hmm.
And then it goes on for about a paragraph to answer that. And most of that song is basically just lifted from that catechism question, which is, I think, fitting because that felt like I needed to write a song using that.
Yeah.
Just like last album, I used the old hymn "Abide with Me" because
Yeah.
it fit the theme lyrically for that album, and yeah,
I
it's
love
cool to
that. I
hear.
love that idea. Like I'm a again, if I ran a church, we would only sing old hymns. And, you could do the new versions of them,
Yeah,
and the church would promptly close because nobody wants to hear that. Like that's just not, that's not how churches are surviving. But like I love that taking these old years, like these old worn texts that have stood the test of time, and
hmm
making them your own. I mean,
hmm
that is my favorite type of worship. So I know I use the phrase worship,
yeah,
like it is absolutely my favorite. So there, man, it's all coming together. Why maybe I
yeah,
connected with that song. But yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
there's a happy accident on that one too with the there's like a percussion breakdown where
Sure.
there's like a lot of percussion instruments happening, and that was another one of those editing mistakes I made, um, where I think I moved something and it I don't know, it hit like this percussion MIDI instrument sound, and it just gave me this idea like, oh, that's what needs to be there. But
Yeah.
again, I was not planning on that to be like a like quasi bridge in the song there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
The whole idea of like moving files while
I
editing
know.
and leaving something wrong, I have such a visceral reaction to it because like I've had the moment where I forgot to click a setting and then I deleted something and it only deleted from one track, and then
Mhm.
the entire like the last half hour that I've edited is all technically off by
Oh
two
no.
seconds and it mostly survived until you hit one spot and you're like, oh, I've screwed this up. So you got to undo for go back
Yeah.
and find it. So like you're like when you said that, I was like, oh
Well,
man, I know what he's talking about.
there's definitely those mistakes where like, oh crap, I deleted that. And luckily there's an undo button for most of that.
Yeah,
But there's some happy accidents too. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a fun one. And I'm happy you like um Be Remembered. That's probably the song I'm most proud of
Hmm,
from a conceptual standpoint. I don't know if I nailed it as what I was hearing in my head.
hmm.
But if so, most of that song is all voices.
Yeah.
There's very few instruments until the end of the song, um, but it's mostly just a lot of voices, and all the melodies that the different voices are doing are all melodies made up from different pieces of other melodies earlier in the album.
Wow.
So that song is basically just a hodgepodge of different melody lines thrown together that occur at different parts earlier in the album,
Hmm.
which was the whole concept behind, well, not the whole concept, but that was the musical concept behind Be Remembered, was
Yeah.
trying to pull forward to that song all the other stuff that came before it
Hmm.
to kind
That's
of tie a
amazing.
nice bow on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why it leads so well back into restarting and starting the album up again. So
But don't you worry, brother, justice will be had. No mountain could hide them, sister, from his vengeful hand. The great day of his wrath will not be stayed, and none can stand before the wrath of the Lamb.
so that's it. That's kind of our breakdown of The World Ain't Mine to Change. I think we're just gonna have to do this in 5 years. Let's just be honest. I'll keep the show going and we'll do a 5 year anniversary of it. And then these will be ungrounded children, and it'll be like stuff you want to talk about because you won't be talking about the new album. So this will give you a chance to talk about old stuff. So where can people find this and your music, and where can people get a hold of this?
Uh, Most of the usual suspects as far as social media goes. You got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever the heck it is now, at Fepeste,
Yep.
Fepeste, spelled just like it sounds, right?
Wait a
Uh,
minute.
you can find music on Bandcamp, download it there, buy the album, please. You can buy it from Bandcamp, or you can
Yep.
buy it from Velvet Blue Music if you want beautiful vinyl records or CDs, things like that. You should do that because Jeff Cloud, went out on a limb and decided to release this album, even though, uh, I told him, I was like, I don't know, man, taking a chance on me. I don't know if you're gonna make your money back on this album, but he believed in me in this album, and I can't thank him enough for that. So if you listen to it and you like it, definitely go buy a CD or a vinyl. Just to, if nothing else, not help me, go help Jeff.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
a lovely vinyl,
Thank you.
and
It is very
I
pretty. It
I
turned out
love
very
the
well.
sticker in the middle of it with that's got A and B on it, the way it's
Okay.
highlighted.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
All right. I got to
so
tell you
good.
this. Okay. So I was designing it, right? And that logo, the Fepeste circular logo that's in the middle, is
Yeah.
designed by that guy, Jaden Bricker, I was telling you about at the beginning. And so I was doing the layout because I had to do all the layout for the album. And I was trying to think of what to do because I never made vinyl. I was like, what do I do for like the vinyl? What do I want? And I liked how that logo is, it's round, so make that really big on there. And I was trying to think, how do I differentiate side A from side B?
Yeah.
And I'm a dad, and I like dad jokes, as dumb as they might be. And the band name is Fepeste, and I was like, what if it's Fepeste A for side A, and then Fepeste B, which doesn't make any sense, but at least. And so I told my wife this. I was like, honey, I had this stupid idea. I should do like Fepeste A with like a big A, and then Fepeste B. And she's like, that is so ridiculous. That is the most you thing I've ever heard. She said that. She said, that is the most you thing. And I knew then and there, I was like, I have to do that now. I have to make. And so I asked Jaden, I was like, can you throw like an A and B in there? So I can put it on the vinyl that way. But yeah, that's basically just a dumb dad joke for peste, so people know how to pronounce the name.
Well, I caught it and I love it. Like this, it looks great. Like
Yeah.
it's fantastic. Oh yeah, the joke worked because I looked at it and I was like, all right, I love it. Yeah, it looks great in there. So awesome. Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for every time you join the show, you always bring such insight. So I know that this is a well thought out album that you have thought through, and so I really appreciate taking the time. I know busy stuff. I will say it. People, go check out the album. Go grab a copy of it. It is absolutely worth listening to. Support local artists, or not local, indie artists. Like this is the machine is trying to kill us. So go support indie artists, and this is a great one to support. So yeah, thanks so much, Eric, for taking time out to talk with me.
Thank you, Caleb. Thank you so much.
Not my own, but was bought at a price by my faithful Savior's sacrifice. Both body and soul, in life and death, it's not my own righteousness. His precious blood has set me free from the devil's tyranny. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Album Anniversary Podcast. I want to say thanks to Eric. Go check out his record. Go buy his record. This is a chance to, again, support an indie artist. It's a super cool record. It's a super unique record. Go check it out. Again, like we said, you can buy it from Blue Velvet. You can buy it from Bandcamp. Go check it out. Make sure you get a copy of it. Absolutely great. So Eric, thanks so much for joining me. It was really great. I'm on all the social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Patreon. All those things. You can also email me, CalebTheSpypodcasts@gmail.com. I have a running spreadsheet of episodes I want to do, albums I want to cover. If you're interested, I can give you access. You can add your name. Maybe you could come and join the show and talk about an album you love. Please subscribe and share the podcast. Leave a rating, leave a review. It is a way to help podcasts that are not run by famous people. Turns out I'm not famous. I thought I was, but I'm not. So it is a full market. So if you enjoy what I do, please share it. Please try and spread the word. It's how little podcasts like this grow, and so I really do appreciate it. Another podcast I do work on is I Survived Youth Group in the 90s. Me and my friend Scott have gone back, and we are just talking to people who were in youth group in the 90s and 2000s. I think we've had one person from who was in youth group in the 80s, just kind of hearing about that experience, hearing about how they're similar to all the other youth group experiences people had, how they were different, but then really we want to get into kind of where people are at today and kind of how that youth group experience impacted their life. Again, whether they're at the church they were raised at or they left the faith entirely, just kind of hearing about their experience and kind of where they're at now. Thanks so much for listening, and we will talk to you soon. For some reason, Google decided to wake up for that. I don't know.
It's gonna be weird you just asking me questions instead of like a group conversation.
Yeah,
where
every time you've done the podcast, there's been somebody else.
Except for I think the first time was Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. That's right.
When that was just you and I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all you. This is just you're supposed to ramble now, so just go nuts. All right. I'll do my little intro and then we'll jump in. Welcome to the Album Anniversary Podcast. Today's show is about This World Ain't Mine to Change by Fepeste. Dang it. Did I say it right? Fepeste?
Yeah, Fepeste.
I always mess it up. Okay.
You got to leave that in. Yeah, Fepeste, you got it. First try.
So I'm going to try it again and we'll see which one works better. If I can cut this out too. Welcome to the Album Anniversary Podcast.